Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Kish. I am the small engines teacher here at Haddam-Killingworth High School. This is my 16th year here at Haddam-Killingworth. I'm also a former graduate, so always very happy and proud to be here at Haddam-Killingworth teaching. So this is small engines. Basically, in our class, we are looking at small gas-powered engines, engines that run on different types of equipment like lawnmowers, tractors, snowblowers, dirt bike squads as well, things like that. Essentially, in class, we start off with looking at how they operate. We take each student, or in pairs, gets an engine, which they take completely apart. We learn about the various parts, what they do. We inspect all the parts, and then ultimately we rebuild the engines and start them and try to get them running. Later on in class, we do go into repair and troubleshooting. So we always encourage equipment to come in from home that can be worked on, fixed, and hopefully sent back in running order. So just taking a look here at the slide here for the syllabus. Because this is generally a hands-on class, we try to keep about 50% of the grade based upon that. So most days we are in the back of the lab working. We usually take the beginning part of class to review some theory and kind of do some note-taking or things of that nature. And then we try to spend as much time as we can in the back giving students experience with tools, machinery, and things of that nature. So obviously this year with our hybrid schedule, it's a little bit different, but we have been able to send engines home to students, and we also have students working on the engines whenever they are in class and trying to have them take care of some of the theoretical stuff at home. So in-class students will also learn to use precision measurement tools and other inspection tools to verify that parts within their engine are working properly. We will also learn how to use engine manuals. So they will look up technical specifications for their particular engine and compare that with some of the measurements they've taken. Also use the measurements for the reassembly process, which sometimes involves very specific steps in order to put the engine back together properly. Part of the grade is also making sure that students are becoming more independent in the lab, while obviously they're encouraged to ask questions. The hope is that they've also learned from the beginning lectures what they need to do, and if they've been paying attention, they can do quite a bit on their own. And another part of that grade is also organizing their workspace. So, being organized with their parts as they take things, as they disassemble, and especially with tools and keeping the general workshop clean. I'm very big on staying organized, and keeping the shop clean also means keeping the shop safe. Safety is also another big part of our daily work. In fact, it's about 15% of the grade. So just overall safe behavior in the lab, but that also includes things like putting away flammables, picking up tools, cleaning up your workstation, keeping your area organized, putting back specialty tools when they're taken out so that they are easy to find and readily available for the next student who will need them. It also involves using safety glasses and just generally following safe procedures. There is some equipment where students need to ask before using, and so following those types of rules are also part of that grade. And then finally, there are tests and worksheets and quizzes. There is paperwork, so students need to be on top of that. Again, this year, most things are running through Google Classroom. Some of the due dates are fairly flexible given the nature of how we're in class right now. But generally, students should make their best effort to turn things in on time. This is just an example of the rubric that I use for grading in the workshop. Just again, a little feedback for the students. Typically, it's a check minus, check plus, and maybe a comment if they usually are not doing something that they should be, or if they're just really going above and beyond in a certain area. I can also give them some positive feedback. Okay, so just kind of an overview of the different units in class. So we have already covered shop safety and basic tool and engine tool use and identification. We are actually going to jump over fasteners and hardware to a little bit later, and right now we're beginning our unit on the engine components, so learning specifically how each component works and what its job or multiple jobs are within the engine or the larger piece of equipment. Unit 5, we're going to move on to measurement inspection. So students will be learning to read a dial caliper, which is the tool down below, precision measuring tool, and we'll use that to inspect our engine parts. We will look at some basic electrical function. We'll definitely focus in on carburetors and governors, which tend to be some of the major culprits of problems within engines not running properly or not starting. And then finally, we will look at troubleshooting and repair. So once the students have a good idea of how the engine operates, we can start to talk about when things don't go right, how do we begin to pinpoint the problem, and then start to isolate and make the repair. And then finally, we have just special projects. So we highly encourage students to bring equipment in. Again, maybe something from home that's not running or hasn't been used in a couple years. It could be a dirt bike or quad that, again, needs something or is not working properly. So we encourage students to try to bring stuff in from home and get it up and running again. And it kind of presents a new challenge to them. Here's a few other examples of some other projects from class. We do a disassembly poster. So once students have their engine completely disassembled and we've kind of gone through our unit on all the engine parts, this kind of serves as a test for them where they have to label all the parts and write a brief description about what each part does within the engine. You can see in the picture here, everything is also nicely laid out in the way that it would kind of go together in the engine. And we use some technical drawings and some other items to kind of help lay out that poster and do the labeling as well. On the right-hand side here is just an example of the inspection sheet that we use. So it gives the students a spot to put their measurements, find the information from the manual, what the measurement should be, and then make the decision on whether or not the measurement that they took met the specification within the manual, and if the part is still good or would need to be replaced. And finally, here's just a quick look at our shop. So on the left here, we have our small engines bay. Each student gets a workspace where they have their engine stored below and their tool set. We generally have enough space, especially this year with only half the students in right now. We have plenty of space to work. We also have a selection of replacement parts and things like that we've stripped out of old engines from previous years. And on the right is just an example of some of the repairs that we might do. So this is an example of a tractor that is having some engine problems, and students will troubleshoot and hopefully make the repairs needed and send it back out to where it belongs. That is essentially class. If you have any questions, I would love to hear more from you. You can find my email on the school's webpage. You can also have your student contact me through Google Classroom if you would like to be in contact. Take care, and thanks for watching.